I'm
Yeah.
starting it. I don't care. Sit down. Sit your ass
Let me
down.
just.
Starting it.
This is
Okay.
incredible.
I was trying to
It
do it like
started, fool.
professional way, but
Okay,
whatever,
whatever.
man.
Welcome to episode 12 of Taco Drama Night. We finally have our guest, huh? Finally.
This was your
Finally.
finally. I was gonna make fun of your intro,
Yeah.
but I'm actually more excited that my
Finally
guest is
got our
here.
guest. So
My
our
my.
do you want to introduce the
I want to
guest?
introduce
Okay,
my
go for it.
guest.
Go for
My
it.
guest is the only one that I know that I always wanted him to come on the show. His name is Shay. Everybody knows who Shay is. I had
Hello,
mentioned Shay
that's
several
me.
times.
They were Batman. They helped us
I,
out when we put up our bat signal like about what 5, 6 weeks ago.
Yeah, he was my
Remember
Gordon.
when we were when we were in hell, man. We didn't know what we were doing.
now that
And
I've
we
been
yeah
now that
There-
I've been introduced, though, I can finally break
yeah
my silence.
yes.
Yeah,
exactly right.
I didn't do that much to help you guys out, though.
I mean, you showed up. That was a help us all because we didn't know
Ju-
what we were doing.
I
You
guess
keep
just
saying we. I don't know where we
So
comes
you
from.
knew what you were doing.
I have no clue what I
So
was
that's
doing.
what I'm saying. I'm the only one that has
But
any
I
idea.
didn't go buy like 36 cables of
That was because our
of
tech guy
nothing.
told us to do it.
Well, you know what I mean.
That was a mistake. Should never have done that.
This guy won't let that
Ho-
go at
hopefully
all.
you guys learned your lesson.
Yeah, we
We've
did.
learned a
We
major
did.
lesson.
Yeah, because
Don't let Josh in charge.
I wasn't the
That's
one in charge. Our tech guy said we need the cables. I went along with it.
that's a
Man,
good thing to
it-
keep
He
in
was
mind.
the one that said, "Okay, we need this cable, that cable, this cable." And we went to Guitar Center like 2 days after we thought about doing the podcast. It was like this fool was shopping. We need this, we need this, we need that, we need that. And I just went along with it. I was like, okay, our
Well,
tech guy, he
there's your
knows what he
problem.
needs.
You went along with it, and that's
Yeah.
why you're
Listen,
right, Rigo. You don't listen to Josh
yes.
because
Don't
he'll
listen.
just go along with the
Don't
worst ideas, right?
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're the guy that
Mm.
just say.
Hey, but
jump.
I'm the one that figured out how to do all this other shit while you were sitting on your ass.
It's
fool.
true.
Yeah,
It's
I figured out how to do the video. I figured out how to get all these chords and all this stuff. You just sit there and sit pretty and don't actually do anything.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're
Wow.
I'll take that
Yeah,
compliment any day.
Okay,
was-
good.
That was
Okay, we got
beautiful.
our guest.
We
We
got
got to
our
like
guest.
start
We're
getting into
stop
our guest.
rambling about
So,
your own personal
Shay,
life
introduce
issues.
yourself. Who are
Hello.
you?
Hi, I'm Shay. So I know these guys because my girlfriend Michelle, who's off camera over this way.
Oh, wait,
Anybody,
sorry,
anybody
that
who
one.
doesn't know who Michelle is, she's the
Going in the
one.
wrong way.
She
That
is the
way.
one
No,
that
she's not
gave
that
us
way.
that
She's this way.
awesome.
No, but when the wait.
Josh.
Yeah, she's still that
it's
way
That
then.
way.
Oh, right. Okay. But I
He's
thought
playing
the
4D chess.
yeah, I don't know what I'm talking about, but okay.
That
Yeah.
that is another clue of you never gonna be my co-pilot.
No, but
Anywhere we
the
go,
camera is
no-
facing the
no-
other way, so you have to point that way for it to look that way.
So to continue what I was
Sorry, I
yeah.
yeah, okay.
to
So,
continue what he's
my-
saying about
my-
his girlfriend
my
and
my girlfriend Michelle worked with both these guys at the bakery that they mentioned multiple times.
Yeah, Rigo
now.
still works there, but I'm gone, so
Yeah,
Yes, still
I
working.
never worked
and yeah,
there.
Shay never worked there,
but
but
I do have my fair share of working experiences. I worked with my girlfriend. That's where I met her at Six Flags for 4 years prior to her working with these guys.
Six Flags.
We
huh?
won't talk
yeah,
about
well,
Six
Yeah,
Flags.
we'll have some conversations about
Yeah.
that.
we'll get
yeah.
into that some other
Um,
time.
I mean, we can
Yeah,
get into it here, but
I worked
yeah.
at the front gate for the first 2 years, and then in ride operations for the 2 years after
God,
that.
I hate Six
Um,
Flags personally. So
We've
you
had
know
a
about
segment.
me and
We
Six
we've had a
Flags.
segment with this
I
guy
have, I have
in Magic
feelings
Mountain.
about Six Flags
I don't know.
that we'll get into, but anyways, and then after that, I just finished my college and went straight into substitute teaching, which I'm still currently doing.
Which we'll get into that because
Yes,
I have a
uh,
lot of questions
Yeah,
about
that's
true.
substituting and being a teacher.
Yes, I have
'Cause-
my credentials to be a teacher
Are
right
you
now.
dealing with?
Uh, well,
Oh, sorry. Keep going.
I was just going to mention I do have my credentials to be a teacher right now, but um, you know, the time that I earned my credentials was when school was online only, so
Ooh,
I didn't
okay.
feel fully prepared at that time. So I went to substituting,
gotcha.
and then I've just been waiting for a good opportunity to work close to home.
And
so
I've been hearing, I don't know if you're affected, but like I heard there's going to be an LUSD strike coming up.
that's already kind of happened.
Yeah. So how is that affecting you?
As a substitute, it's giving me more
More
Wouldn't
hours
wouldn't
for
that
work.
open the door a lot more for you?
Yeah, as
Oh,
for
yeah,
yeah,
'cause
a
for
lot of
as a
teachers
substitute
are
right now.
a
yeah.
lot
Yeah.
of teachers are not going to cross the picket
Yeah,
line.
and then
right?
also it's
Yeah.
gonna make it so that whenever I do start full time, which hopefully is gonna be this upcoming next school year,
Mhm.
there's gonna be more benefits for me. Hopefully,
Right, perfect.
when
I mean,
start.
that's the goal, right?
Yeah.
So,
Which I'm invited to I'm part of the the union for the teachers of LA, the UTLA.
oh, you're in the
union.
you're in the
Yeah,
union? Or
yeah,
no?
I am.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm a part of the union. So I get like the invites to go to those events, but oftentimes I'm just busy with
You-
stuff
you
like
think
this, or
They must be boring.
You
though,
think
and
right?
it
it
open?
would be
You
super
think?
boring and
Oh,
super.
I wouldn't.
Yeah,
Rigo had to
I
go to
don't know anyone
some
there
training
to.
for management the other was it yesterday, right?
It was
And you said
yesterday.
it was so boring, huh?
Oh my god.
Yeah, but I mean,
I
it's
mean,
worth it. You're becoming a manager, so
yeah. I
or
mean, it's worth it.
yeah,
It's worth it.
yeah,
Anything that has nothing hands on.
yeah.
You sit there in a conference room,
It's
then
8 hours, and you
obviously
get paid too.
I got paid.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, I'm
pretty
not
dope.
worried. I'm not
Yeah,
worried. It took me 2 hours and a half to get there.
damn, that's crazy.
But anyways,
2
wouldn't that
hours and
open
a
a lot
half.
of doors though? How does that even work in the sense of teachers on strike?
I mean, to be honest, I don't really fully understand it. But it does seem like just kind of like a like the feeling that I get whenever I walked into work on, for example, on Tuesday.
It's weird, right?
Yeah, it was like well, like it was kind of like a everybody was excited, everybody was like happy and proud to be doing something together, and even the administration, who technically this is going like against what they would
That's what I'm saying,
wish
right?
for.
Because aren't you
They
considered like, you know, you're like, I guess the word is like a scab, right, or something, or what, like when you cross the picket line or something.
Yeah, I mean, it's just
Yeah.
like obviously the administration, their job would go smoothest if none of this happened and everyone just did what they needed to do and didn't complain and everything
Right,
just
but
kept
that-
So what
going
is
as
this
it
strike
was.
about? Is it
It's
more?
just pay,
Uh,
wages.
It's always
well,
yeah.
it's not just pay.
Not
It's
just,
it's
but
it's a lot of
yeah.
things. But the biggest things are obviously pay for teachers to
Yeah.
because the
And
inflation
also, isn't it
has been
also,
crazy and teachers' pay hasn't gone up
and
with
it's
the
not just
inflation.
teachers, right? It's janitors,
Yeah,
custodians,
everybody.
all the food, like
Yeah,
all the
like
cafeteria
pay
people.
across the board.
Yeah.
And you know, I mean, hopefully there'll be substitutes as well because I'm still getting paid the same amount that I was when I got hired in a year ago, and I know prices are not the same as they
Oh,
were
yeah,
Yeah,
that's
of
what I'm saying.
a
course.
They
year
have
ago.
Everything. Yeah.
Jobs
Um,
nowadays, like you can't, like you have to offer higher because like inflation's gone up
mhm,
so much. It's like,
Inflation goes up, then the pay needs to go
yeah,
up.
because like
mhm.
minimum
Isn't that?
wage is like,
And we're just walking backwards.
what is minimum wage? Like I think it's 16 something, 16.50.
I
It's
think it's
LA
16.
County, right? Or
so well for the United States,
oh
it's
yeah,
like
it's
750 or
775,
something like that.
750. Yeah,
775.
But
you'd be
yeah, for
amazed some of
California,
those
it's
states.
I know
Yeah,
it's at least 15. It's but I think
for
it's above
California or
yeah
LA?
for
Oh,
California,
California. Okay, I
it's
thought.
15.
15.
Okay, right. Yeah,
And then for
Yeah.
LA, I think it's poised. It's just been approved to poised to go up to
1650, right?
20
20.
until like over the course of like 2024 or no 2026. I think by like
Shit.
2026
Okay. Hey,
or
20
2028.
bucks. Damn.
I'm by the way completely just going off stuff I read off the internet like
Oh, okay.
weeks
That's
ago.
what we all do.
Yeah.
So don't even
So,
worry about it.
super
I only
That's why I
foggy
give
brain
my
I tell
about it.
people
information.
stories,
Yeah.
and I'm like, yeah, I just read
This
it.
is
I read it
this
on
is where I give
Wikipedia.
all my intel.
I read it on
Yeah.
Wikipedia.
I have to.
So
Yeah. So
I
I'm d-
Google
I'm
everything.
probably off, but I definitely heard something about the pay going up to 20 way in the future.
all right, that would be good for minimum wage.
Yeah, for minimum
Oh,
wage
okay.
for
Okay.
here in this region.
Good
Yeah.
in the sense of like you
It's
think
good, but then people are gonna get laid off. It always happens.
it's not laid up, but everything's gonna end up going up
going
again.
up. Yeah, that's true
Yeah.
too.
13. It's gonna be end up being like $15 for a gallon of milk.
Right. And then you guys been hearing about the freaking all those banks shutting down and shit.
I heard something about
Yeah,
that.
well, yeah, there's the huge bank
Yeah.
collapse. I don't
Yeah.
know that much about it. I just know that it's
It's
it's the only bank collapse that it's second to is the 2008.
yeah, and there was
one.
another small bank, a smaller
Yeah.
bank that collapsed.
Is that when all the
couple
banks were
days
giving out
later.
loans to people getting houses?
Yeah, no,
and,
that
and
was
then
yeah.
and then this agency got involved called
Yeah,
NACA.
it was a whole financial
Yeah,
crisis.
it was some big.
Yeah, I don't
old
think we're
mess.
in that situation, but it's not good.
Nah, this
either,
bank was
so-
just giving out too many loans, from what I
yeah,
was
too- a
understanding.
lot of
They-
loans,
I'm
and it was all
also-
it was tech people. It
Yeah,
was all
well,
tech people.
the-
'Cause it
yeah,
was
the-
Silicon Valley.
Yeah, the big
Yeah.
reason why you're hearing about it in the news and it's not really affecting anyone you know is because the banks that failed in like the 2008 financial crisis affected it was all banks that affected like regular people, like
Right.
regular
Yeah, 'cause
people's
they were
Yeah,
getting out
incomes,
loans for
regular people's
homes.
Washington
jobs.
Yeah.
Mutual was a big bank for like normal people used.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then this bank was
Tech.
specialized
Yeah.
in techs and
Yeah.
startup companies and basically
But then they did
basically
have,
rich people trying to get super rich.
But they did have like
Gotcha.
after that. People,
And then now they're
So-
the
and now,
stock started going
you hear-
down for all
well,
of the
yeah,
banks.
that's what they got. That's
So
what they got
it's
the
a-
attention from.
it is a domino effect.
Yeah.
But that's why like and it was also caught and stopped somewhat early as well, as far as
Yeah.
I understand. But so for those reasons, that's why it doesn't really affect people you know, because the most of the people who've been affected at this point are like rich people trying to do like tech startups and stuff. There's not that
yeah.
many.
So the
Not that
rich
many
people
people.
just
Yeah.
and then borrow some money
But
and
they
go
are
out
the-
someone
they are
bells
the
out
you
again.
know the biggest whiners. They're the ones who
Of
have
course.
a direct
Oh, of
you
course,
know
of
link
Of
into
course.
like news,
But yeah.
and so that's why you hear about it on the news all the time.
And
Makes
then
sense.
they make when you hear it on the news, you start panicking. You're like, oh my
Yep.
god, oh my god,
Yep.
I'm gonna
And that's
Yeah,
what
because
they
then you
want.
think it's crisis throughout,
Yeah,
like the
yeah, yeah,
whole 2008 sort of
Yeah.
thing, but
yeah.
I
it
mean,
was just
it could
silicone.
have been if nothing was ever done about the domino effect,
Yeah,
but
Yeah,
it was
yeah.
caught
yeah.
and
But
stuff.
and then
And
I know
someone just had
like the stock market is still down, but like,
it's gonna
what
be
are you
like
gonna
that.
do?
I mean, they're
Yeah,
yeah,
getting bailed out already,
it go
so
up and down. And then I heard about some bank in like I think
that
it was like Credit Suisse or something
I mean
that was
that's the
also
thing about.
kind of
I was gonna say
shaky.
to
Yeah,
I guess kind of switch topics. That's the thing about me and my job. Why I like government job is the benefits and all that stuff. Don't really have to worry about stocks, the economy.
yeah,
I don't really care about any of
yeah,
that
yeah.
stuff.
Of course, as long
I
as
mean,
you're getting a
yeah,
paycheck.
yeah, I
yeah,
mean, I kind of do
exactly
because
right.
I am social studies, so I would be teaching economics potentially in
Yeah.
government. So I mean,
Okay,
I do
okay.
care to that degree, but like, it doesn't affect my life that much.
So let's talk
Yeah, we
about that.
wanted to get into like your like
Yeah, let's talk about that
being a
area.
substitute
Yeah.
Being
teacher.
a substitute.
Yeah,
What are your
Great.
questions?
Okay, so my question is, me growing up in the 80s and 90s,
Yes.
we had some tough ass teachers, and I'm talking
Yes.
about turning around, throwing in. We had chalkboards.
yeah.
Right.
Y'all not have
We had chalkboards.
whiteboards.
We had
You
chalkboards.
have no
Some
chalkboard.
We
some
did.
classes did
We
They
like
did.
still
so
have them.
Yeah,
I
they
got
don't use them, but we
yeah.
had them.
So
A lot of them.
what year did you graduate high school?
2017.
I was
Yeah.
2014,
Yeah.
and I
We won't get into
remember
mine.
1885 or
Damn.
something.
1885.
Yeah.
What's
Um,
up?
You were born. You were
no, there
graduated with Lincoln or something. Yeah, he
Lincoln.
was in your
I
graduating
I
class.
thought I was
Yeah.
with George
there were
Washington.
I'll give you a little bit. A
yeah
little.
no
You're not that old.
in my
Yeah.
time in public school there were definitely a few, especially in elementary school
We had
there was a
Yeah.
chalkboards,
lot,
and then
but
they
in like
started introducing like the Elmos and
The
the
those
what?
like
Elmos.
The
those
hell?
projectors. They called them like Elmos. You know
Where'd
what
you
I'm talking
get?
about?
Oh yeah
Instead of like the
yeah.
chalkboards, they started
Okay.
using like those projector screens before they got like those smart
Yeah, no,
boards.
I
Wait, no,
remember.
it was that.
Yeah,
It's
it's where they would have the clear paper and
Yeah,
they
the
would use a
translucent
marker.
paper.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. We had those.
I
You did?
remember
We
those.
Okay,
did.
but then
So
do
that
you
wasn't
That
new
was
for
for
you guys.
but then
math.
do you
That
remember
was
getting like the smart boards where you could like draw on the smart board with the markers and stuff or no?
Just like a little mini,
No, it was
just
the whole
white.
screen instead
it's
of
Oh.
like
it's now a projector.
no, we
No,
had a
well, there.
smart board.
So actually, it's more than a projector now. So they have these things called what you were saying is smartboard, but what
Yeah.
I'm talking
Yeah.
about is a real smartboard. This is a new thing that they have in
Wait, I
classrooms.
think
I
I've
had never
seen it.
seen
Is
this.
it like
I
with
think
is
I
it with
think
like markers that you put on top
No.
and then they
Oh,
like
what?
draw on them?
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
okay.
we
So
had
you
that. We
oh,
started getting
okay.
that when I was in like high school.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, okay. You probably got that like a little
Yeah.
after I actually. Well, you went to LAUSD,
Yeah.
right? I went to Hart District, so
Oh,
maybe
okay.
it's a little different.
Yeah.
But so nowadays, the two main like okay, well, not the two main. So not every teacher has smartboards. A
Yeah, that was
handful of
true.
classes
Yeah.
do. A good amount of classes don't. But smartboards are basically imagine like a whiteboard, but it projects a
Yeah, this
like
one.
your computer screen, and you can draw on your computer screen and then erase on your computer
Yeah, we
screen.
had that where they would call up kids and do math problems on there
Yeah,
and shit with different colored
Okay.
markers and stuff.
yeah.
I seen a couple
Yeah.
when I was working
It,
at the district.
Oh, okay.
it's cool, but using the technology is really weird because it's super like delayed
Oh,
and
it's
like it's
mega
off.
delayed.
Yeah,
That
Yeah.
it's
was another
weird.
thing. It was super
I mean, there's
delayed.
still
Yeah.
kinks into it,
Yeah,
but
it's
Yeah.
super
yeah, I
kinky.
seen that. I still love the chalkboard.
But
I'm
yeah,
not gonna
so
lie.
the
I
chalk
like just the dry erase board.
yeah, like
Yeah.
That's
the
what I
markers,
mostly
Well,
had.
markers,
Just
yeah.
the classic.
mine was chalk.
Yeah, the
Yeah, I
chalk. I
had chalk.
remember we did have a
Mine
few
was
classes that used
chalk.
chalkboard. Even in college, I had one old teacher. He was like, his name was Malcolm. He was like probably like 80 or 85, whatever. And he would use the chalkboard
How'd
like
you
every
come up with
day.
that number?
We would talk about in class like how old do you think he is? And we'll be like, one kid's like 105. I was like,
That's
eh.
where you got.
I was like, nah, he's probably like
Was it?
70. He was old, but
Was it math class?
yeah,
that
it
you
was
got?
math. It was it was calculus 1 or something like that. Like
Oh my
one
god.
of the first semesters in college.
Yeah.
Like he was old, but he was nice, but he was old. He used a
Yeah.
chalkboard.
Well, enough about you. I'm
Yeah.
trying to get to Shay. Like,
God, bro.
like I want to know. I want to know how you deal with these kids, man.
I
My
mean,
back in my days, teacher would drop kick us. I don't know. I'm not even gonna lie.
Oh, they
We had
never
some.
drop kicked you.
Never been to my. I've been. Have you gone to my school district? Where I
Yeah, but
went
they
to.
wouldn't drop kick you. I would
yeah,
see
no,
them
I
I
like
was,
seen.
throwing shit at you, but they wouldn't drop kick you. Like literally
You've been to
drop
my.
kick you like karate.
Yes,
No,
teachers
no
will
way.
fight kids.
so I mean, like
Damn.
my dad also has similar
Damn.
stories because he went to he was born in 71. He went to like middle school, high school in like the 80s, early 90s.
Yeah, it
Um,
was tough back
and
then, man.
he he was mentioning how some teachers would hit kids if they
No, no,
were
I knew
that
that, but
crazy,
I
but
just don't think they
that
would
doesn't
drop kick them.
that oh yeah, but yeah, no, any kind of physical contact doesn't happen between
No,
kids
you
and
can't
teachers
have that
anymore,
anymore. Yeah.
unless like rare instances where kids attack teachers, and then it's obviously like a self-defense, like
Have
getting
you
away
seen
from
that?
type of
There
thing.
was a.
I've never seen it personally, never heard of it personally. However, I have seen
Oh,
videos
me
of it
too.
online on
Yeah, yeah.
You saw
things here and there.
the one. Ah,
By camera.
God damn it! Whatever. We're not ending it. Just put it back up.
Yeah.
God damn
We're
it,
having
Rigo.
some technical difficulties.
We're not ending this shit.
For the one
Yeah, we went blacks.
for
God
for the
damn it.
one person who's actually sitting down watching this,
Yeah.
enjoying the video, we apologize.
Okay,
But for
well,
the
our
rest
angle is all shit now, bro. Oh no.
yeah, for everybody else who's listening, the
Okay,
camera
turn
just
the
randomly
camera.
fell.
Just fix it, fool.
Yeah, they're fixing the camera,
God
but
damn it,
uh,
bro. Okay, what
to
were we
get back
talking
to
about? Like
to
drop
get back to
kicking kids
camera.
and shit.
No, yeah, physical contact
Yeah.
and stuff. No, physical contact doesn't happen anymore.
No, that angle is bad, fool. You gotta fix it. There, perfect. Good, just leave
I
it.
think just don't worry about the video.
Yeah. Yeah. No.
Let's focus on audio.
Good
So,
job, Rigo.
what were you asking me, Rigo? I forgot.
He was saying because kids would like in his age, like 400 years ago, like he would get beat up or assaulted by his
Oh.
teachers. But nowadays, like you obviously can't do that.
That was
But
way
That-
off of what I
that
was saying.
but
wonderfully worded.
Assaulted.
did you see the video of the teacher that took away like the kid's Nintendo Switch and he literally knocked the teacher out unconscious?
That sounds kind of familiar.
It was like a couple months ago. Yeah. It
yeah,
was a kid with special needs too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that sounds kind of familiar. I
Yeah.
mean, I wouldn't be surprised, I guess. I have heard. Okay, no, there was one video I've seen where a teacher attacks the student first, and he actually still got protected by the school, and that was essentially because he he was a really old, really well respected black teacher, and this was like a really problematic like new student, and the teacher took away his phone, and then he was harassing that teacher, trying to get it back, and called him the N word multiple times to his
Oh,
face. And
damn.
finally, the teacher just like whacked him good, and then they went to a full on fight. And then the
Damn, bro.
teacher got him good, and then
Was this recent?
no, it was a long time ago.
Oh,
It was
okay.
years ago.
Shit, bro.
But from what I heard, I saw it on Reddit, and I've seen it multiple times, like at least 2 or 3 times. Because if you've been on Reddit for a while, you'll see things over and over.
Yeah.
But now,
but-
personally, like to you, you've never had any issues with any students, right?
No, okay, so I mean, the worst I've ever had to a student,
Yeah.
got like it never got physical where we directly contacted each other,
Mhm.
but it did get physical in the sense where, they were trying to forcefully pull open the door while I forcefully closed it on them. In
Oh,
that,
like they were late for class or something?
no, no,
or-
no, no, they were. I wouldn't do that to someone who's late for class.
Oh,
I
okay.
would not.
Teachers
Yeah,
do
yeah,
that a
Not
lot.
like that.
Yeah.
Some teachers are really like
Strict
tight
on that?
butthole
Oh,
about
man.
that kind of thing. I am definitely like the laid back type of person. You guys
I mean,
know
like
me
you
as
made it a
person.
class,
And
come
you're a
to class.
substitute too,
Yeah.
Yeah,
you
like,
don't
and
really
if
have
if
too
you walk
much
in
of
late,
the-
I'll just mark you late.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You
you're
get
late.
marked late. You
It's
get a
better
late.
you be late and show up to class than be kicked out and have to go to because in my high school you'd have to go to like another room,
Yeah,
fill out
no,
a paperwork, and say why were you
that's
late, all
that's
this shit, and
stupid.
it's like,
No.
come on, man.
Y'all
I'd rather
did
just
that?
be yeah, it
Not
was my
me.
school was ridiculous. They would hand out detention for
What high
like
school did you go
nothing.
to?
Granada,
Okay.
dude. They would. I
So I
got
mean, I've been at San Fernando High this week and
Mhm.
for a lot this last year, I guess. And they have these things called tardy passes.
oh yeah, we had we
Yeah,
had that too.
but
yeah.
it's not like it takes like 2 seconds and the person just like prints
Oh,
it
we
out
had
real
to go
quick
to
on a
this room
receipt.
called A5. You go there and sign this form, like, why were you late? How come you're late? All this stuff, and then
Yeah, no, it's
after you
nothing
do it,
like
you get
that.
like an hour detention, and then you'd go back to class.
Okay,
But
yeah,
by the time you
that's-
do that, you miss
yeah,
3
you
quarters
missed
of the
your
class.
yeah, you missed the whole.
Because there'd be a
Yeah, you
lineup
missed
of
the
like
entire
30
class.
kids that would be late for class. Because we had a minute bell in my school. I don't know if you guys had that.
Well,
Like between periods.
my high school had that,
Yeah.
but these schools that I've been subbing at throughout LAUSD do not.
Okay, they don't. Because
Yeah.
you get like 7
They-
minutes between periods or something, right?
Yeah,
Or
so like
8 minutes
so
or
San
something.
Fernando, I have noticed that they don't have like a bell, but the head person, like the head person at the administration will go on the speaker and be like,
Oh.
"Hey, Tigers, you have 3 minutes to get to class," like that kind of thing.
Oh, we had like
Y'all
a
do that.
we had a bell
We
that would
never did
yeah,
that
we
on
had a
my
bell.
time,
Like the bell
school.
would go for lunch for like 30 seconds
Uh-huh.
and we would know okay, we got 7 minutes to go to lunch
Yeah.
or next period. And
Yeah,
then
yeah,
we'd
yeah.
have a minute bell that would just beep like 3 times.
Hey,
And we're
Mhm.
like,
they
oh,
still
Yeah.
do those announcements early in the morning.
every morning we
Mhm.
had
They
like
still do them.
Yep.
period 2. They would give us
Yeah.
like not national anthem, Pledge of Allegiance, and like
Y'all
current
still do
events.
Well,
Pledge of
so
Allegiance.
so I mean, I'm currently in the schools right now,
Yeah.
and you were in school 6 years ago. So yeah,
Yeah.
the announcements are a little different now.
Yeah.
Post COVID,
Right. Okay.
they do it for the most part. So different schools will do it different ways. I've been to different schools and I've seen how they do it. A lot of them will usually do a small, like expedited announcements publicly
Yeah.
over the speakers, and then for like extra news, they'll send an email to all the teachers, and then the teachers will play videos or whatever that's on the email
Oh, okay.
for the class.
Oh.
But as a
We had that.
substitute, I don't get those, and I can't play them for the class ever. So whoever,
Yeah, yeah.
But is your because I
you know,
remember when I was in high school and
whoever
even
gets
middle
me.
school, like they would add an extra like 5 or 7 minutes to one of the periods, and then they would do it in.
Yeah,
the,
so
yeah.
now there's a whole I don't know if you guys had this, but there's a whole breakfast in class thing now on
Never
first
had that.
period.
What?
Never had.
Yeah.
Never
Well,
had that.
obviously,
Yeah.
mine was nowhere near post-COVID because
Yeah.
mine was decades ago.
Yeah.
We never had we never ate breakfast
We
in
never. I
class.
never
No,
had
I
that
never
either.
did
I never
either.
had that.
This is a
Yeah.
very I think this is a very new
Breakfast in
thing.
class.
Yeah.
That sounds nice.
That sounds
Yeah, so-
super
Like, feed 'em,
nice.
like
So
5-star
for-
omelets
Yeah,
and
I'm
So
stuff.
well, so I'll explain it. So
Not like my
here's
time,
how it works.
chalupas.
Yeah.
Here's
Yeah, for
it,
real.
this is a LAUSD wide thing. Essentially, whenever you come into school, first period is about 12 minutes longer
Yeah, I was
than
just gonna
all the
say.
other periods.
Yeah.
Both for announcements and for the breakfast in class time. So
Damn.
what breakfast in class is the teacher will have a student or a couple students take the breakfast in class pass, go to the cafeteria, pick up these like little boxes that they're not like cardboard boxes. Oh, sorry, I don't have the mic next to me. They're like these boxes that don't they're not like cardboard boxes, but they're like big lunch boxes.
Okay.
And they are just full of food for the whole classroom, essentially, like
Damn.
breakfast.
And you don't have to pay for that, or
And
do
it-
you?
No, it's like
well,
part of
it's
the.
L- as
yeah,
school,
it's
this
LAUSD.
L-
Because I remember
LAUSD.
even when I was in school, like we would have to pay for lunches
That
and all
that's
that
yeah,
stuff.
that's for
like
like
and meal
the
plans we would
yeah,
get.
that's for like the lunch stuff. But like yeah, breakfast in class is provided to if you're just enrolled in
And
LAUSD.
this is in high school.
And what kind of
yeah,
food like
high school, middle
would they
school,
have?
elementary school.
What
What
the
kind of food is it?
So like Friday we get coffee cake.
Oh, I
Um,
love the
Oh,
coffee
nothing
cake.
beats
Yeah, it's-
nothing beats a coffee cake from school.
Dude, I
Yeah.
love
Dude,
the
I've been
coffee
trying to
cake.
look for those coffee cakes anywhere at
They're
a grocery
so
store.
good.
They don't come
Nah,
nowhere
nah,
near.
nah.
What about what do you?
With the crumble on top,
Yeah.
like a thick layer
Can-
of that?
What about chalupas?
No, I
People
never
still
had
get
that. I
chalupas no
never
more.
had that.
They
So
never showed.
I feel like they've
Nah.
simplified things sometimes. So like for like that's for like lunchtime. Breakfast in
Yeah.
class is like packaged
Like
simple
pancakes and stuff or
stuff.
something?
So like
Prison food.
like yeah,
A
like the
loaf of-
so like the you
a
know the
slice of bread?
microwavable like bean and cheese burritos.
Oh, okay. That would be breakfast.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that yeah, well the
Oh,
part of
damn.
it, and then
Okay.
it'll be a lot of things like
Milk, right?
packaged apple slices, the little cartons of milk and orange juice, apple juice,
Okay.
fruits like apples, bananas,
Yeah.
pears,
Mm.
and it just like differs. And then there's like cereal bars, which those are actually pretty good. Those
The cereal.
was-
Yeah, I've seen the cereal
yeah,
bars
the,
now.
like,
I buy those
strawberry
No,
at,
I
ones.
at
never
the
had. We never had
supermarket.
breakfast in class. We would just do like before school. We would just eat breakfast, or we'd like do something, and then I remember lunch. They'd have like pizza,
Yeah.
burgers, all that regular shit.
Yeah, so I
Potato
mean,
wedges.
and also like different schools will have very different schedules. So like I know at Verdugo Hills they have 4 hour-and-a-half long periods,
Yeah.
and then they
Oh, it's like block period. or
yeah,
something,
it's
right?
like a
Okay.
block schedule, so where like it's not full semesters, I guess. Um, and then like San Fernando does what my school had, which is 6 like about hour-long
55
periods,
minutes,
yeah, like
something like that,
55-minute
yeah.
periods.
And
It all varies.
And do you
And
still do
Yeah.
the shortened day like once a week or something? Like the
Yeah, so
half
on
day
yeah,
or
it's a
whatever?
Tuesday. It's the professional development day.
dismissal,
It,
like, yeah.
it means the kids get out. Well, so different schools will also do that differently. Verdugo Hills will do their, and my high school did the PD in the morning, so the kids came in late, and left at the same time. So we came in at like 9:30, and then we'd leave at the same time
Oh,
that we
Yeah,
okay.
my
normally leave.
youngest they
And
leave early on Wednesdays.
Yeah,
just for
and then I was gonna say San Fernando on Tuesdays is the PD day for LAUSD as a whole. I
yeah, we
think
used to have Tuesdays.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then yeah, so for San Fernando we get out early for the kids, and then the staff actually has to do a whole meeting after or during that time.
And you're
It,
included in it?
um, so some schools actually do ask me,
Oh, okay.
some schools don't. So
Mm.
like San Fernando, they just tell me go home
Oh, hey.
because it's afterwards. I don't
Mm. Yeah, you
really
don't
need
need
Yeah.
to
to
be
do it.
there,
Yeah.
and what's also really nice is since I get paid hourly, they still pay me the six
Oh,
So,
okay,
so
hours
okay,
when
okay.
you
even
go
if
to
I leave
different
early.
schools, is it hard to adapt to other teachers there? Like, is there someone more talkative than others?
Well, the thing is, as a substitute, I'm never interacting with teachers really, because
Not even on
I'm
lunch. You guys don't go to
well,
like the
okay,
lunch kit?
well, that's the thing is, so when I first started, I actually did like purposefully go out to the teacher's lunch cafeteria to eat my
Their
lunch.
lounge, their
Yeah,
lounge. Yeah.
and yeah, a lot of them, it actually gave me anxiety because a lot of them would constantly
Like talking
complain about
shit about stuff.
like
Yeah.
the worst situations they've been through or are currently going through or all these
That's like the
things.
best juicy
Yeah, that's
gossip
drama
you
though.
can
Yeah,
That
but
would
that
I would be
get.
sitting there.
I'd
well
have
at
been
that time
soaking that thing up
Yeah.
like there
well at
was
that
no
time I was
tomorrow.
yeah at that time I was in a middle school, and I just like it was like stuff like hearing some of the stuff kind of made me kind of sad about these kids' futures.
Oh.
Oh
That
Oh,
kind of
no,
but
stuff.
don't,
you
don't you?
always knew there were the kids that were like, I don't know how far he's going. Like,
Exactly,
no
yeah.
offense, but like,
Yeah, I
I'm
mean
not saying I was gonna.
that's
Well, also like
reality.
I'm talking like kids, pregnant and keeping the
Oh,
kid at like well they're 13 years old.
Jeez.
That
Oh, there's
kind of
stories. Yeah,
oh yeah, but
I've heard stories like that when I was working at the district before.
like, kid, yeah. I mean,
And
we
these teachers don't hold back.
no,
hmm
they don't care.
They don't they sit
Yeah.
there and they gossip in that
Yeah.
But
lounge.
Oh
that's
yeah.
what every job is.
I
You're
mean,
always gonna
yeah,
have drama and
Yeah.
shit like
yeah,
you're
So
talking about.
yeah.
I've never really cared about drama stuff, which is ironic that I'm
I
the
do.
first
But going
guest
back to,
on this
but going
drama
back to,
taco drama night
but going back,
podcast.
hey,
I gotta have
we
something to talk
love
about.
drama.
Yeah.
Rigo and I are,
Oh, I live
we're
So
for
drama
that.
queens over
so
here.
I actually purposefully
Yeah.
once I like realized that I hate spending my lunch around other teachers, like it had nothing to do with those teachers. Like they were cool people and stuff. It just
Yeah.
I hated hearing the stuff that I heard every lunch.
Oh, I get. Yeah, yeah.
And
Yeah.
so I just decided to start spending my lunch in the classroom that I'm covering for.
Oh,
And
okay.
I'm like, actually, this makes more sense because there's a microwave. A lot of teachers have a microwave and a fridge
Yeah,
in
yeah,
their
yeah. I've seen
Damn.
classroom.
that. Yeah, when we were
Um,
cleaning the rooms.
yeah, and so like I don't need to go anywhere. I mean, sometimes they don't. So sometimes I need to just take my food to the microwave in the office or in a nearby teacher's room if I know there's a nearby teacher I covered for before that has a microwave. I'll walk in and be like, "Hey,
Yeah.
covered for you before. Mind if I use your microwave real
Yeah,
quick?"
yeah,
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Hey.
Or if none of those are an option, then then I'll go to the cafeteria just real quick just
Okay,
to
okay.
heat up my food and then
You make
I'm
no
out.
eye contact when
Wait,
you're
wait,
in
be
Uh,
there.
careful, Jay. Be careful.
I
Be
mean,
careful. Be careful. Yeah,
my
just
bad,
be
my bad.
careful with that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
move that.
because we don't want to drop
Yeah,
the
we don't want
camera
we don't want we
again.
don't want Josh pulling the cable again, drop the
Um,
camera.
Move my
Now,
feet like
do
that
you
too.
have has anybody like we? I wouldn't say I was like the main one, but a lot of kids would like pull pranks on substitute teachers a lot, or try to like mess around just
Yo,
because
Oh
when you
yeah.
were a substitute
I
teacher,
mean,
you know what I mean?
yeah, no, no,
Yeah,
no.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Do they still do the senior pranks?
Yeah, yeah. No,
yeah,
everyone
they
does
do.
senior
Yeah,
pranks.
but specifically like
Like
on substitute teachers, because we used
no,
to
not
like
on a substitute
kids in
teacher.
my
So
school would like do
the
make fun of like or like try to prank substitute
No,
well,
teachers.
the thing about senior pranks, at least from how they've kind of always been from when I was in high school and how they, as far as I understand, they still are now. They're mostly aimed at the school or at like teachers that have a certain reputation. So like random
Mm.
substitutes would never really be a target
yeah.
of of a senior prank because senior pranks are big.
Well, not like a senior prank, more of like just like throughout the day, because people would make like some kids I knew would like try to make the teachers like substitute
Yeah,
teachers day like shitty, you know?
I mean, it's I've never really had a kid like
Yeah.
I've never felt like a kid's trying to make my day deliberately shitty,
Okay.
but I have noticed that there's quite a few kids who will. Um, the biggest thing I notice is kids who will simply not do anything.
Oh, that was
It, there's
common.
there's
That was
Yeah, it's
common.
never changed. And
yeah,
even
Yeah.
in my
obviously
era.
there's hey, here's your assignment. You got to get this done by this time. Go ahead, get started, and then they just sit there on their phone.
Oh, we did that. Everybody's guilty.
See,
Or
I didn't
That's
have
the
a
biggest
phone.
thing.
We didn't
we
have
didn't have a
phone. We
phone.
didn't have
Yeah,
phones
you
back
play like
then.
Yep.
heads up 7 Up and shit.
Joe,
You
I'm not
guys
even
would
gonna
do
lie,
that.
we
Yeah,
did.
we did that
We
a lot
had
too.
we
Yeah,
had pagers.
pagers.
We had pagers.
Damn, bro, you must.
Yeah, we
Wow.
won't get
Yeah.
into that. We had pagers,
So yeah.
but it's
You had
it.
electricity in your classes?
No, we had somebody just run a wheel.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. You didn't have
We had
man.
a
You
wheel.
get
We
pen
had
and
no
paper.
phones, but I'm
You
sure
get
you.
plumbing.
I don't know. We had a whale. Of course, we
Okay.
had
You
plumbing,
did.
dude.
Oh damn.
Okay, I'm not that.
1800s had a lot of tech, huh?
we had we had a light bulb. One. We had
One
to
light
share it.
bulb.
Yeah,
Okay,
we
you
had
had
to
to
share it.
share it.
We had one
When it
light
got
bulb.
dark at night, you'd
Yeah.
have to all huddle
So
around the one light bulb.
damn. So do you have like it? Because look, my time when we had substitutes, we loved it because
Oh,
either
everyone loves
Mhm.
substitutes.
Yeah,
we
yeah,
love
no.
substitutes because we
Uh,
didn't have to do the
yeah.
You
criteria
didn't
that
have
our
to do it
teacher was
unless
giving
some
it.
teachers were really strict about it, and like they would give the substitute like a
We,
full lesson plan.
yeah,
You know?
no, they would
Yeah,
write it on
that
Yeah.
my
rarely
time
happens.
chalkboard, but some substitutes were like, yeah, we're not gonna go through that.
Oh,
And
okay. So
they wanted to be the cool substitute. That way, I guess I'm assuming now that way their day wouldn't be shitty.
yeah. So obviously there's a benefit to building rapport with students. That's a
Yeah,
academic talk for basically
Yeah.
it's in your best interest to make the students like you.
Because we.
And you
Yeah.
can do that in a number of ways. For example, just today, there were two students who claimed to be two other students that were absent.
Oh,
And they
common.
were not supposed to be in that class.
Oh boy. Okay, that was
And
Oh,
common. That was common.
uh,
That's a common one.
yeah, and so I ended up being able to. So the reason I was able to tell, funny enough, is um, these two students that weren't supposed to be there were both like half black looking, and every other student in the class was Hispanic. Yeah, pretty much every other kid in the class was Hispanic. So they visually stood out. And when I was looking through the pictures of the role, and also the names that I called that they said, yes to, were super Spanish names, like
yeah,
Esteban and like
Esteban.
Emilio. And I was like, but they could be half
Okay, so
Hispanic.
they were just trying
So
to
I,
chill with
I
their friends,
yeah, but
basically for the
so I
period.
didn't think
Okay.
anything of it initially.
Hmm.
It was when I was going through the role. It was when the first guy played it off perfect, and the guy who acted as Emilio, he immediately, like as if he knew Emilio wasn't going to be there, said here to when I called that. So I didn't think anything of it at all. It's the second guy when I said Esteban, and he went, here.
Oh, he
And
like
then
he
I went,
forgot.
yeah.
Yeah.
No. It's not that he forgot. It was clearly he was listening and was waiting for an opportunity for a kid to not be called to be like, oh, I'm here, so that he
Oh,
can,
okay.
Are they doing that
secure
just to
his
mess
place in
with
the
you,
class.
or
No,
They
no,
want to
so
just
that
chill
they
with
can,
their friends.
yeah, they want to
Yeah.
be with their friends. It has nothing to do with me or what they want to do. It has absolutely nothing to do with me. It has everything to do with this teacher doesn't know who I am. They don't know
And they probably
where
have an
I'm
off
supposed to
period
be.
too. That could be another thing because a lot of kids would have like off periods where they didn't have
Kids
class.
have off periods.
Yeah.
I've never known kids to have off periods. However,
Oh,
I
really?
I
what the
Okay.
hell's an
did
off
in
period?
I'll
so
get into
well
it. Yeah.
teachers have conference periods for the most part. Some teachers don't, but most teachers will have a conference period where it's basically just a period to like for substitutes it's really just a break period for me,
Yeah,
but for a teacher it's time to do grading, time to maybe do personal stuff, catch up on like just whatever you need to, call parents if you need to,
yeah,
just do the kind of teacher work that needs to get done outside of the teaching the actual class,
yeah.
running the lesson. um,
Okay.
and in my high school, juniors and seniors, if they were on track with all their classes, would be able to, if they took an early morning, like before 8 a.m., a 7 a.m.
Yeah, that was
class,
zero period. Yeah,
yeah,
we had this. That's yeah. That's
then you would
kind of
be
what
able
it's
to
on.
get out early. We wouldn't have an off period, but you would just leave at lunchtime.
Okay, because we had like we had that, but we also had things where it's like you were able to like pick like if you did a zero period, you could pick like a period off or something like that. It was weird.
Yeah,
Like
no,
have
I
no
didn't.
class, like
No,
period
yeah,
2 or
didn't have
period
that.
3 or something.
I never
You
had
know,
that.
it was weird. I
When
don't
the
know.
hell
But
did that
if
start?
you
Yeah.
had that, and there are a lot of similarities between Granada and
Because
San Fernando, because
obviously, if
they're,
those kids are staying there, they're missing. They would be missing their class,
but
right?
that happens a lot too.
Absences
Well,
or
yeah, well,
whatever.
because
Yeah.
here's the thing: is if you're supposed to be in room 100 for fourth period, right?
Mhm.
And you know that your friend tells you, "Hey, there's a substitute in room 150. Come hang out with me, for your period 4." Then what happens is you go into that room with the sub. The sub doesn't know you're not supposed to be there. You take the role of someone who's actually absent. They get hopefully somebody who's also ditching, which actually happened to be the case, um, so that the like teacher doesn't notice that it's somebody who's supposed to be absent. And then, I mean, that would be the golden ideal scenario, and that actually kind of lined up for him. But he got unlucky in the sense that, so this kid, he to go back to my story to finish
Yeah.
it, he hesitated when I called Esteban. I was like, Esteban, Esteban, and then I knew he could clearly hear me, and he went, "Oh, I hear," acting like he didn't hear me, and so I went, "I don't think you're Esteban."
You
I
said
thought
that?
that no, I thought that in
Oh,
my head,
okay.
but I didn't do anything about it initially. So I finished roll, and then I went to the computer, and then I can see the pictures linked to
Yo, that's what I was
everybody's
gonna
name. Yeah, on
say.
the because luckily I had the code to log in, so I can see it.
Yeah.
So I started going through, and I found Esteban, and I looked at the picture.
Nothing.
Clearly not
Nothing
the
like him.
case.
Nothing
Nothing
like
like
him.
him.
Okay,
So
that's
what'd you do? Please
Uh,
tell me you grabbed him by the
so
collar and just flung him out the
well, no, no,
window.
no, no. I just
drop kicked him or something.
Drop
I,
kick him.
I wanted to make him feel a little embarrassed for this attempt,
Hmm.
but also not feel like he hates me for this. So all I did was I walked up to him, and I was like, "Hey, Esteban, what was your last name again?"
Oh, hey, that's a good
Yo,
one. That's a good.
he was playing
Hey, and what'd he
checkers and
say
you
to
played
that?
And he
chess.
was like, and I was like, "You don't know your last name because you're not supposed to be in this class, don't you?" And,
Damn, what all the other students say.
and he was like, but well, he was like, he didn't say anything at first. He was just kind of like, and then I was like, "Listen to me. If you go to where you're supposed to be right now, I'm not gonna say anything."
Yeah.
And he's like, "All right, you're a cool teacher," and he just left. He grabbed his
Oh, is
stuff
that
and he
Hey,
right?
left.
you did a good. You good.
Yeah, so
That was
Yeah,
good.
that's how you
I would
handle
have
it.
handled that
But
situation
how were
extremely
the other
different on my
students?
end.
Were they like, "Oh my god" or something, or were they like shocked or what?
Well, the thing is, he actually, I caught him right outside the class because he asked to go to the bathroom. Um,
Oh, so you didn't tell him this in class?
well, yeah, so like it was like right outside the class, so I'm sure, like, so the door was kind of open, so I'm
Oh,
sure
okay, okay.
some kids heard, but
Oh no, I thought this
uh,
was like while he
uh,
was sitting at his
I'm
desk
sure.
or
no, no,
I'm
something.
sure
no.
after he talked to his friend and told him what
Yeah.
Yeah, so
happened.
like on
Yeah.
his way out to the bathroom, that's when I was like he was trying to walk out without the pass, and then I was like, that's when I was like, that's when I checked the pictures and
Oh,
stuff,
okay,
Yeah.
and
okay.
I
I
was
thought
like,
he was like chilling, pretending to do
I
no,
thought
no,
he was
no,
homework.
in. I thought he was
no,
in
no,
the
Yeah.
table already.
he,
And
yeah,
then
he
you're
wasn't
like, "What's your last
he
name?"
wasn't doing anything. There's a few kids who were just not doing anything. I just walked up and I was like, guys, your assignment's due at midnight. Like, at
Yeah.
least take a look at it and see what you're,
Yeah.
Because
because
we used to have like, have you repeated for the same teacher? Because we used to have, or like the same classes. Because we used to have like, we'd have the same substitute like 3, 4, 5 times a year. You know?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So like, I've had, so like one teacher, for example, I'm not gonna say his name, but one of the teachers at uh San Fernando that I've been going to, he every time he needs to go out, he asks me first if I
Oh,
can
hey.
cover for him. Just because, you know, class has gone smoothly whenever I've covered for him.
Yeah.
He's met me personally before I covered him for him for the first time. Because the funny thing about that was I actually ran into him in the bathroom
Oh.
because um, like I was he was walking out of the bathroom while I was walking into the bathroom, and he was like, "Hey, you're a sub, aren't you?" And I was like, yeah." And he's like, "Oh, I gotta get your contact info. I need you. I might need coverage."
This in the bathroom?
Well, yeah, this was like right
Dang.
as I was walking to the bathroom. He's like, "But I'll let you finish.
Oh,
I'll wait
okay.
for you outside. I'll
Did
be
I
right
ever?
That
outside."
Shay
Did
is
I ever tell?
pissing.
Did I ever tell you that story when I was working at the bakery in Sherman Oaks?
No one
Where
cares.
all right, let me talk about it. So we have like we had side bathrooms that were like they were for employees and coworkers or employees and customers, right?
Yeah.
So I went into the bathroom like you lock it, right? But I guess the lock, no one knew the lock didn't work, so I was going to the bathroom, like doing my thing, and another
You're
employee,
dropping a deuce.
yeah, and another employee walks in, and I was like, oh shit, and then I was like, I just stood there for a second, they're like, oh my bad, and they like locked the door, and the rest of the shift it was so awkward. I was like, shit, like I went to the back, and they were
Yeah.
like doing something. I was like, how much did you catch? And they were like, no, not that
Did you
much.
get full
Yeah, I was
frontal nudity?
like I was just sitting on the toilet, and then that's right when they walked in. I was like, oh, fuck. I
Did you
was
cross
like,
your legs like a girl?
I don't even remember. This was years ago, but I was sitting on the toilet,
Let's
and then
get
the employee
let's
walked
get to
right
the
in.
nitty gritty. How much do teachers love fights when they see fights?
I
Are
mean,
there some
I
teachers that are concerned, or some teachers that
no,
put bets on this?
I mean, so
Huh?
every teacher, as far as I know, is like a fight is like a stress moment. Like, oh crap,
Yeah,
like
I don't think
this is not
teachers
good.
like fights.
Yeah,
It's
no.
students that like
Students
fights.
like fights.
Teachers,
Students like
there's
You
no
obviously never been to my
well,
school
so
district,
teachers-
I'm in the
Josh.
same district as you.
Teachers-
Sorry, Shay, but I'm in the same
Let
district
Shay,
as
let
this
Shay,
fool.
let Shay tell his
I
side.
can't deal with this fool
This guy,
sometimes.
would you stop interrupting
Where
me?
you went to Cleveland? That's the same LUSD.
All right, class, settle down.
This guy.
So,
He got me in
What's the
trouble.
substitute teacher over
Oh, the
there. God,
Teacher's pet. Go ahead.
so,
that was you, fool.
yeah. So, what was the question again?
He was saying, do teachers like fights?
Right. So yeah. Teachers, no. I would say
Ah.
teachers will talk about fights in that like because they will talk about interpersonal student drama because it also affects the classroom environment. But like they don't want fights. They don't encourage
Nah, yeah,
fights.
no, I don't
It's a
think
Well-
stress moment. I have had to break up a couple fights before, only in the middle school, never at a
You
high
had to break
school.
up a fight?
Yeah, I mean,
Damn.
but I didn't have to get physically involved because like
Okay.
my presence and voice was enough to intimidate
okay.
them into stopping the fight.
Oh, okay.
Mm.
So like I literally just walked up and shouted at them and they just stopped.
Oh wow,
Yeah.
okay.
Damn.
But no, like teachers don't like
But
fights.
that's
I
'cause it
feel
was
like
a m-
students
Also,
like
it's because it
fights.
was a middle school
That's middle
Yeah,
school.
at that
middle
time. So
school,
they were
yeah.
like,
High school is
you
a
know,
whole different
Nah,
yeah,
ball
high
game.
school-
exactly. So
they-
I've never even seen. I've heard of fights, but
Oh,
I've never
yeah.
seen a fight yet at high school. This whole last year I've been subbing.
My school there would be fights, but there'd be a guy in a security car like right away when there was a fight, and they would break it up like immediately.
Really, not my school. My time was around was a racial fight, blacks versus the Hispanics,
Yeah.
and it spread out like a
Police got
wildfire.
involved, right?
They-
Yeah.
It just the whole Valley's district.
But wasn't there like a breaking point where like they all fought and the police got involved or something?
No,
football game
no,
or something.
that was my football game
Oh,
against
okay.
against your school.
Oh.
Granada Hills.
There was
We beat you guys, and a whole fight broke out. But I'm talking about my time. It was a racial fight in the whole entire district.
There was a similar.
Chatsworth and everybody.
Yeah, I was gonna say my brother, my older brother, he went to Grant High School, and so back in like the mid 2000s when he first started at that high school, or early 2000s, it was like 2002. His like he was like one of the only white kids at that school, so
Yeah.
he wasn't a part of anything to do with any of this. But there was like a huge fight between like the Mexican gangs and the Armenian gangs at that school. It was like a fully like race war type thing, and
What
so
school
And
was
those things-
this?
Grant High
Grants,
School.
Oh,
and they
shit.
get out of hand. I'm telling you, Josh, it ain't no joke.
Yeah,
My
which is
school
that's
would
why
never
my
allow
dad,
that. Yeah.
like my parents were able to get my brother out of that school and into Calabasas.
Okay. Yeah.
Even though we were living in Van Nuys, and that was because my brother was so big. He's like both taller and wider than me.
Mm-hmm.
My brother is so big that he and good at football that they were like, okay, if he plays on our football team,
Yeah.
we'll keep him as our
Yeah.
student, but he's got to be on the football
Oh, in
team.
the shit, fool.
Don't worry about it, Josh.
God, you're gonna drop the camera again.
I ain't
That
dropped it
was
the
on your
first-
fault, by
That
the
was
way.
not my first fault.
Sorry, Shay, but
it's alright.
this I gotta keep this fool in check sometimes. He
Can't
tries to
stand this
blame all
guy.
the shit on me.
Because it is your fault.
No,
Can you let
we
this
got a
man-
guest here, and you're doing all this.
Who started? Can you let this man finish what he needs to say?
Yes, but you keep doing dumb shit that I have to police
Why are
you
you
on.
still talking about it?
Because you're gonna drop the camera.
Anyway,
again.
Shay,
I w-
before we got really interrupted by this
Yeah.
guy,
I was gonna say real quick about that, but yeah, I don't think like the racial tensions exist.
I don't
t-
think
today
it's
to the
yeah.
degree,
This
degree
is
they did back in my brother's and your time.
yeah, yeah.
Because like I've noticed so
I'm
like
gonna fuck you up, Josh.
the like for example, Verdugo Hills has a pretty diverse student population where like there is probably, I guess, the majority Latino population, but there's
Yeah.
still a pretty sizable Armenian population, a sizable white population, a sizable Asian population, and a sizable black population as well.
Yeah.
Um, and I feel like back in like your time, my brother's time, what like back in, I guess, probably 2000s and prior, a lot of like those racial groups would have stuck together as like friend groups and not like had friends outside of that. But nowadays, there is a generic like Armenians will tend to be friends with a lot more Armenians. However, there's a lot of intermingling in which I see a lot of Armenian and Mexican people being like friends with each other, and then um, like basically like the communities feel intermingled, and I feel like the drama that happens now isn't racially related. It's just that like it's friend groups who are all like having
Yeah.
drama
I
with
feel
another
that.
friend group.
Yeah.
And
Oh
back
yeah.
then
Yeah,
they
I
were
can see.
racially friend grouped, right? And nowadays like the racial groups are mixed, so now it's just not really race related. It's just, but it's the same like drama between big friend groups
Someone
that
cheated
still
on someone
happens.
or something.
Yeah, and
Oh,
then like
something like
Yeah.
that.
this
Yeah.
whole group of 12
See. Yeah.
friends like
Yeah.
will hate these like 8 different guy friends because of that, and then like everyone connected to all those
And
people,
then
like
all
it's a,
social media gets
yeah.
in linked in.
Oh yeah, and
See,
then that
and then
blows out
yeah,
of
my
proportion.
time it was no, it was a word of mouth.
Yeah.
Ours like
Oh
so and
yeah.
so, so and
Oh
so.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
that I don't even, because like I was, since I graduated in 2014, I feel like a lot of the social media was really starting to explode during my time in high school. So now I don't even know what it's like for these kids to where they had social media in elementary school, and now they've gone through all of elementary school, middle school, and high school with it just existing,
Yeah.
and
I
how it's
remember
affected
I wouldn't be able to
their
adapt to
it
that.
relations.
was it was coming. It was pretty popular when I was in like middle school, and
Yeah,
the big one when
because
I
you're
was
a
in middle
few
school
few years later than
was
me.
everyone was doing Vine when I was in middle school.
Yeah,
That
for
was like the
Vine,
big one.
Vine was my
Yeah.
high school thing.
Middle school for me. Yeah.
It was like actually Vine like started becoming popular like late high school for me.
Really? Okay.
Yeah,
For me,
like
it
my
was
last
middle
couple
school, and then
years.
high school was when like it kind of like started fading away.
Yeah, I think it like
Yeah.
it started for me in my like my sophomore year, like
Okay. I
2012, I
think it
think,
was like
right?
middle school for me when like that thing went crazy.
Yeah,
And then, but yeah, it was social media was always like for me around, but it wasn't as big as it is now. And
yeah,
people didn't like their life wasn't on it. You know, we
yeah,
would go on it and look at it, but we didn't focus our life around it and make sure like
right.
cared about likes and all this. We just do it for fun. But now
Yeah.
it's more of a thing where it's like have to get this amount of likes or
Well,
have to do
yeah,
this.
and
You know?
I hear a lot of
Yeah.
kids conversations, and like for example, I've heard like girls lecturing guys about like, you can't be following this person while like my
Oh,
friend follows
right.
that, like
Yeah,
that
yeah,
kind of,
yeah. That's still that.
these
I mean,
kinds of like super crazy
yeah.
like social web
Yeah.
interconnection type stuff. Like
See,
It's tough, but
I can't
yeah.
deal with that. But these kids are, whatever. They're into that. They grew up to
We
that.
grew up in it. Well,
You
now
guys
the
grew up
kids
it. So
now
you
grew up
guys know the
was
rules and
born.
regulations of like you
yeah,
can't follow this, you can't like
The
this guy.
kids
You can
now were born into are gonna be born into it, but when we were growing up, we didn't really have too much of that. I didn't even get my first phone until like 6th grade. But most of these
yeah,
kids are getting
I
their
Did you
phones.
say sixth grade?
Yeah.
yeah.
What,
I
fool?
didn't have a phone
I got my
throughout.
first
I,
phone in 6th grade. It was a slide-up phone that I
yeah, I was
broke.
gonna say I had like a
Yeah.
emergency flip phone that was just for calls.
Yeah.
Yo, I
I
had
got my first one in 4th grade. That was just for
Okay, I
calls
got
because
my first one in 6th grade.
the
Yeah.
I would
hell.
walk home from school.
I had a
I had a
Nokia
slip
phone that you put the
the
antenna and stuff.
antenna. No, I had
Yeah,
a
And it
slide
had
up
like a
phone.
green screen. They ain't
yeah. My
no
flip
Oh,
no.
phone
okay.
had an antenna. I
Yeah.
I
remember.
had a
Yeah,
slide up phone, but of course, me with like fidgeting,
I,
I slid it up so many times that one time it was like that, and the front screen
like the
flew off.
sidekick.
Yeah, it was. It wasn't a sidekick, but it was a sliding, but it wasn't like up and down. It was sideways.
I just find it weird
It
that
was like this.
you guys would talk about it getting in fourth.
Yeah,
Well,
6th grade, not 4th grade.
my daughter's
Yeah.
in it was in third. She had her own phone
There you
now,
go. I didn't get mine till 6th grade.
but
Only
it's
because my mom wanted me to get one in
well
6th grade. Yeah.
nowadays it's uncommon.
Yeah.
It's not it's common for a young child that's in
Most
elementary school to
elementary
have
kids
it.
now have it, but when we were growing up, most elementary kids didn't have phones.
I didn't get
Yeah.
my first. Well, so a lot of I would say if there are any like kids watching, a lot of people, a lot of kids would think of a phone as a smartphone. I didn't get my first smartphone
Oh, I didn't get my first smartphone.
until ninth
Me
grade.
too.
I was in high
9th
school.
grade. Yeah.
Yeah,
Damn.
Only because I lost my other phone in baseball practice. And
Did
Yeah.
you lose it when you crashed into the pole?
I don't. And I'm not getting into that again. But no, I got my first phone in 6th grade. I think on my first
Yeah.
smartphone, it was like a Samsung phone. I think it was like ninth grade or something like
The
that too.
the
Yeah.
first generation iPhones came out when I was in sixth grade, and I remember my mom got it because that's when she first started working as a nurse. So she had like she was starting to get paid a lot. So she was like, "I'm gonna get the newest cool
Yeah,
phone that
yeah, yeah.
just came out,
iPhone.
with the
Okay.
touch
Yeah.
screen and the internet. You can go on the internet."
Damn. Looking back at that, like if you
Yeah.
look at like old iPhones, they were tiny. They were like this big,
Yep.
like super
They're
small.
but like
Yeah,
that
little
thick.
tiny,
Yeah.
little tiny one. Now it's just
But
it's
people were
outrageous.
amazed. I remember when I was in summer camp, I think it was like his 8th grade or something, and some kid got the iPhone 4, and we were all amazed. We were like, "Oh my god, he has the iPhone 4,"
I
and we
had
were
a
like freaking out.
I
I
had an
remember.
iPhone 3. No,
Okay.
actually, yeah, I had an iPhone 3 until like 2 years after graduating high school. So this was like 2016. So only like
Oh damn.
yeah, like
Okay.
6 years
Yeah.
ago, I
I had
had
the
an iPhone 3.
Galaxy Samsung like S2 or S3 for
Yeah,
like a good 4 or 5 years, and
yeah,
then I'm like what like 5 years ago I got an iPhone, so or
yeah.
4 years ago or something. So
Are you
yeah.
that type that just now you like anybody that doesn't have an Android? I
No,
mean,
no, no, no.
an iPhone.
It depends on the person.
Oh,
Like some people, I'm like, bro,
I
like I'm
remember
not.
the day I got my daughter the AirPods, and I tried talking to her, and I guess it was this thing when they said like I don't talk to poor people.
Why? Cause
I don't
wait, you
talk.
have an iPhone though.
No, she had AirPods, and I guess it would thing where everybody was on social media. If anybody didn't have, whoever had
Oh,
AirPods,
you're talking about the wired ones,
Yeah.
maybe.
no,
What are you
the
talking about?
AirPods,
AirPods, the wireless ones.
the wireless ones.
Yeah, what about them?
Yeah, if you had them and people tried talking to you,
Yeah.
they said I don't speak poor.
Oh,
It was
okay.
a big thing.
Yep.
And I
I
didn't
never
get it
heard
for a
that. More,
while.
it's more of if you have green bubbles, people think you're poor. That's what it is now.
The green bubble.
But the fu-
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
but the funny
Yeah,
thing is,
yeah.
some of these Samsung phones are more expensive than the iPhones. But you're poor if you don't have
It's
a
just
blue bubble.
media. They
Yeah.
go for media,
Well, some
but
Yeah.
people like. Well, by the way, I can't date someone that has a green bubble. I can't like go out with
yo,
people.
that's a thing.
It's a
You know
thing.
that,
It's a
right?
Yeah.
thing. It's
No,
a
It's a
thing.
I
thing.
heard
It's a
of that.
thing.
Like, oh, I
Yeah.
can't date because you have an Android.
Yeah.
It's
No.
what
It's
the
a thing. You're
fuck?
There's
poor.
also,
You have an
I mean, there's
Android.
also people who are like, I won't date you because of the month you were
Astrology.
born in. Yeah.
Oh, the
Exactly,
astrology and
astrology.
stuff.
I've heard
Ah,
that shit
come
too.
on. I'm sorry, but that's just
I get a
crazy.
lot about my horoscope thing. I
Well,
just
no,
sit
there's
there and
people
stare
that are
at them
like,
like,
okay, so because I'm a Capricorn, so I can date like 4 other signs, but if you're this sign, I can't date you.
yeah, that to me
The-
would be a red flag of my
yeah.
time.
God,
The
bro, it's like
the
what?
interesting thing to me about the whole like what is it called, the horoscope?
Horoscope? Yeah.
Yeah.
Horoscope.
The horoscope thing
Horoscope.
is
Horoscope.
that it comes from a dead religion, Zoroastrianism. That's
I'm
a
Really?
sorry,
yeah,
what?
yeah. So
So
here's
it's
the thing.
all like
So
fakes
Educate
so
me,
it,
educate me, Shay.
in modern day Iran, that was called Persia, right? In ancient
That's where you
times.
from.
So
Keep going.
Iran today, um, that area before they were Muslim, because before Islam didn't exist until the 700s.
Okay.
Prior to that, for a long time, that region was a religion called Zoroastrianism, or like they followed a religion called
And
Zoroastrianism,
what years was this?
up until the year 700.
Damn, so about your time, fool.
Damn.
Where you remember? You don't remember that
I
Yeah,
religion?
you
don't know.
don't
I'm not
remember?
from your country, so I don't
Damn.
know.
Okay.
Uh,
That's his time.
yeah. So
2008.
so basically like the religion, that whole idea of the horoscope came from the religion's idea that um the constellations affected your personality and who you were, depending on like if you were born under which kind of constellation.
Month too,
Yeah,
right?
and
Yeah.
but the thing is that like which constellations were assigned to each month at that time of like Zoroastrian's like following was also not only a different time but also a different place that uses a different calendar than we currently use, the Gregorian calendar
So then, how come people like believe in this
and
so
Julian calendar.
wholeheartedly and like follow it like to a T? What is
Well,
the reasoning for that then?
I feel like so it's a sort of spiritualism that, so that's what I was going to get to is the interesting thing to me about this is that it comes from a heavily like religious, spiritual origin, the Zoroastrianism, right?
Mhm.
And that religion isn't followed by anyone anymore. I mean, like there are probably some people trying to like revive it, but it's not authentic. It's not like people actually passing it down
Yeah.
culturally. Um, and where was it going with this?
About like why
The
people
people,
follow
yeah,
it,
why
right?
people follow it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I feel like a lot of people who are into horoscope type stuff are also the type of people who wouldn't consider themselves to be religious in other ways. But maybe a
But do
lot of
those
people
people
are.
know that this is a religious thing, or they just think of it as something
No,
that they
that's what I'm
follow?
saying is
Yeah.
I don't
I don't
think
think
I don't think I didn't know it was a
90%
nobody.
or no,
religious
because
thing.
That's
I
what I'm
didn't know
Yeah.
saying.
about it, and
Yeah.
my
That
work talks about
that's
the horoscopes all the time.
that's what I'm saying is it's one of those things that is, if you think about it, is kind of spiritual and religious in that sense, but nobody thinks of it as being that. And that's because there's no sort of organization behind it.
Yeah.
Right.
There's no like church that says this is what all the horoscopes say. This is our holy scripture about the horoscopes. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah,
That
yeah.
doesn't exist.
Because there's a lot of people that like they follow it. They believe if you're a certain sign, then those are your personalities. That's what they
yeah,
believe in. Like,
like
oh,
like
you're
what
a Cancer.
yeah,
This is your
like
three personalities.
yeah,
You know,
like the whole
yeah,
thing. I won't date you because you're a
compatible. I've heard. Oh, yeah, I'm compatible with the Cancer and all these. And
Yeah.
it's like,
and they
Well,
live off of that.
the funny thing about that was from what I've read about Zoroastrianism and like the origins of the horoscopes, was that the constellations that are currently assigned to the months are actually not accurate. If you were to like, let's say, so I know that I'm a Leo in August. Uh,
keep talking.
This guy,
I know that I'm a Leo in
yo,
August. But if I were born back in like 2000, 3000 BC when these were like first recorded,
yeah.
there would have been a Leo constellation above me in the time of August, that time of the year. But in 1996, when I was born, there was no Leo above me. It was actually shifted over. So
So what are
all the
you like a
horoscopes,
Sagittarius?
yeah. So I don't know what's next to Leo, but all I know is that like if you believe in the spirituality of that, the constellation that was directly overhead when you were born
Yeah.
affected your personality, then you're going off the wrong constellation that was above your head technically, if
So
we're if
so
we're looking at
so
it that way.
90% of the population, they're all wrong zodiacs.
I mean, I would say 90, I would say 100.
Everybody out there that you say,
I mean,
look,
like
I'm not gonna date a
technically,
Leo,
yes.
then you actually weren't dating a
If you
Leo.
think of it in the technical, like what constellation was directly above you when
Yeah,
you were born, like technically, yeah, everybody's wrong.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Well,
Because the records that everybody's going off of are records that are thousands of years old at this point, and
yeah,
so the where the stars are in the sky are not in the same places in the times of the year.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
That see, man, I have something to argue about at work now.
Yeah, I mean, don't get into it because some people are very passionate
Oh
about
But
it.
my
yeah,
So
that's the
God,
thing is
like
they're very
everybody at my
passionate.
work.
They believe in it, but that's the thing is if you look in the realism of it, the
Yeah,
scientifics of it,
yeah.
it all is disprovable.
I mean, I don't really believe in it,
And
but like at the same time, there are sometimes you'll look up stuff and they'll say like, "Oh, I'm a Cancer," so they'll be like, "Oh, a Cancer's this," and I'm like, "I believe that. Like, I'm that." And
well,
I,
that's
like,
the
you
thing
know,
is the kind of websites.
mhm.
Think of why do they exist? To get clicks?
Yeah, exactly.
Why do they
Yeah,
want? How are they going to get clicks? Well, to get people to believe in what they're saying. How do they do that? Cast the widest net possible.
Yeah.
What's a Cancer? Oh, you're charming, you're handsome, but also sometimes you're
you
ugly and
procrastinate too or
you
whatever, you know.
procrastinate, but also you're really organized, but also you're really
So
messy.
now
Yeah.
you're mentally thinking, oh shit.
Oh, I'm
Yeah, like,
that.
oh, I'm
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
So
Oh,
that's
yeah,
but
true.
and then
That's
yeah,
every
true.
yeah,
time you see something that doesn't align with you, you ignore it because you're only now you have confirmation bias
Yeah,
because now you're
confirmation
looking
yeah,
bias. Yeah,
for the things that go, oh, that is me.
yeah.
yeah, that's
And
true. That's
yeah,
true. Yeah,
so
because
it just
I don't know.
they all play to
Crazy.
humans basic human psychology. I mean,
Yeah,
I'm no
yeah.
expert at psychology, but I have taken a couple college classes on psychology, and it's very basic, the kind of tricks that they use to get clicks.
Yeah, I mean it's.
I laugh when they say about
Yeah, I
mine.
laugh about it
And they're
too.
like, "Oh,
Yeah,
you're a Leo,"
But
and
then
it
the
I don't
seems,
care.
then it shows
Yeah,
you. I just look at them like, I don't care.
yeah, and
yeah.
then the other one that people follow too. Is it, it? It might be part of it, like mythology. It's kind of part of it, I guess. Maybe I'm.
You're looking
What
at the wrong
mythology? What are you
person.
talking about?
I don't even
You
There's
know.
looked
many
at me like I
kinds
was
of.
gonna give you an answer.
Like, there's another
I was
form.
way up.
It's part of. It's part of what's the we were just talking about horoscope, but it's
Horoscope.
different. It's not when you were. It's not the month you were born, but it's like there's another zodiac sign.
Chinese zodiac.
Yeah, isn't there something else
Well,
that people
so the
follow?
horoscope is the zodiacs.
But there's another.
That's another word for it. But
Okay,
Yeah.
then maybe I'm thinking of that because I know there's
I'm
another
a
one.
horse.
There's
So
no
there's
your
the
gemstone or something is what I'm talking
Oh,
about. There's
I,
like
Gemstone.
more
I don't
where
really
you
know anything
you're
about that or the
okay.
origins of that.
Okay.
I
That
don't
might
think
be what
it.
I'm talking about.
Yeah, no, I've heard of the gemstones. I know
Yeah.
that. I
Okay.
don't know anything about the origins of that, where that comes from.
Okay.
All I know is that the horoscope
Or your
zodiac
water
signs.
sign or something like that. I hear people
Yeah,
talking about some
I,
They
shit.
talk
I don't
about
know,
my
something like
sun
that.
sign and my moon
Yeah,
sign.
that's what I'm talking about. All that, like the
Yeah,
moon sign,
I
sun
don't.
sign,
Well,
water
they
I
they
don't
sign,
know.
do
whatever
they
that
they
shit
do
is.
that whole what time you were
Give 'em where
born,
you
where
what,
you,
yeah, what time you were born, what
where were you
date, what
born,
I
where,
don't know.
and then they said
yeah,
that Jupiter is your moon
yeah,
and,
yeah,
I
and,
think
all that
that's.
and
shit. Yeah,
Venus is your sun, and I'm
I think
like,
they
what
took the
the fuck?
idea of the zodiacs and like made it their own thing and expanded it. I think
it's
that's all where
weird.
that
It's
came
It's
from.
weird. That's what I
yeah,
was talking
they
about.
did
Yeah,
that to me, and I said, what, my son is what?
yeah. I was like, when I hear that, I'm just like,
I go along
okay,
with it, but I sit there and was like, I'm not gonna this dictate my life.
yeah,
I say you want to say
yeah.
you hate Leos and Leos are
Fine. Well, I
assholes
hate
or whatever.
Leo, so screw
Well, no
you.
one likes you
Yeah,
personally.
God.
That's my
Yeah,
religion.
good. I'm uncompatible with Leo, so screw you.
You know what?
Yeah.
Whatever book you
What
read,
sign are
let
you,
me
Shay?
read it.
Leo.
You're a Leo
Just
too.
surrounded by
So
them.
you're both surrounded with Leos. We're gonna fuck you up,
Only
Josh.
some Leos.
Some
Yeah,
Leos.
you have to be a
No,
certain
it's
Leo.
either one or none.
No, it's you. Fool.
It's either
Anybody that
one
starts
or
with
See,
an
none.
this is what I'm talking about with the zodiac signs.
anybody
You
that
can't
starts with an
judge
R, I
everybody.
can't stand them.
'Cause me
Anything
and
with an
Rigo,
R.
Yeah.
if you look, me and Rigo are very different
You're a Leo
people.
too, Shay?
Yes, me and Rigo are
Me
both
and
Leos, and we are
Shay
very
are
different.
completely
What
different.
month
Yeah, we're
are
like
Leos?
August 15th.
August. I'm
Okay.
out.
I'm
Yeah,
July, so
because you're a liar. That's
yeah,
why.
I'm a Cancer fool.
You are a
God.
Cancer. Fuck,
The
you're
best
you're
You're
zodiac
giving me
sign
you're
out
cancer
there.
by
you're killing
instead
me
of
every
being.
time I
The
can
best
come.
zodiac sign out there.
Oh,
Come on.
Cancer. Just
Yeah.
just the name itself. You're a Cancer to everybody.
Gee.
So,
Okay,
but
well,
we're different. We're different and completely different.
yeah, I
Yeah.
know. But then if you read like
And then they're amazed. They'll be like, "Oh, I couldn't even tell that you're a Leo. You're."
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm a fucking different
yeah,
person.
that's true.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm me. I'm a super individual.
Mm.
Oh, Leos are the same. And I sit there and they
Yep.
like religiously sit there like they're
No,
reading
they
it off a
believe it
book.
like wholeheartedly.
Oh,
Yeah.
hardcore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I laugh about it, but I was like, man, whatever.
So Shay, just going back to you as like a teacher, so you're you want to become a full-time teacher, right?
Yeah. So I
Obviously.
mean, I have my credentials. I could have started full time if I had done everything like as fast as possible. I could have started full time teaching in August of 2021.
Mhm.
But I didn't feel ready at that time. I wanted to take an extended summer vacation and then start subbing. So I started um, applying in like September. And then the hiring process took forever, but I also delayed with stuff. But I didn't get to start working until last March.
I remember
So
you saying it
March
took
of
a while.
2022.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
Waiting for a
mentioned it.
long
So when
time.
Yeah.
you like how what's the process of becoming like from a substitute to a full-time teacher? Like how does that
Well,
work?
so here's the thing is I actually hired in as a full-time teacher with LAUSD
Oh, you did?
because I
Okay.
told them my situation. They saw my credentials and I talked to the coordinator who was hiring me. And he suggested that I hire in as a teacher because the interview process is basically the same. It's just that with the teacher interview, I get a few extra questions I
Oh,
get
instead of a
asked.
substitute.
Yeah,
Oh, okay,
it's the
okay.
same process. I fill out all the same paperwork. It's just that
Okay.
I have an extra interview where they ask me a few extra questions. And I was like,
Okay.
yeah, I'll just
Oh yeah.
and that way if I I end up not being able to find anything for Heart District because I live in Santa Clarita.
Right.
So Heart District is in Santa Clarita. I'd rather not have to drive on the freeways through a bunch of traffic to get to work when I can just drive through the streets 10, 15 minutes to get to work. That's like really the only reason
But
I
would
want to
you
work in
want
Heart.
it like would you want it once you become a full-time like at one school, right? You would pick one school and just teach there, right? Or no?
I would like to,
Yeah.
but you know,
Okay.
if something
Can
if
I be your
things happen,
assistant?
No, you
uh,
don't know.
actually, I mean, technically, there could be assistants
No.
in the classroom, but you would need like um,
Nah.
you need like certain credentialing and schooling and stuff that
I'll
Yeah,
get the
would take a
fool.
long
What's
time to
wrong?
get
What's wrong
into.
with me being an assistant?
Nah, that wouldn't work out.
I would
You
have
just
your.
drop
I
kick all the kids
Actually,
and
you
shit.
know
I'm
what,
fucking
Rigo,
drunk.
you actually remind me a lot of the kinds of people who are the like assistant instructors a lot of
I
times.
feel like the students would like you, but at the same
Exactly.
time, like I don't know,
Well,
it is hard dealing with kids though. Like I never
can
thought
be,
about it,
yeah,
but yeah, it's hard,
yeah, no, it
especially.
can be.
Our friend, everyone.
But then you'd be
every
too
kid.
lax and like let them get away with all
No,
their
no.
shit.
No,
I'll be that guy that'll be cool. You get offline. I'm like, hey,
Yeah, back
let
up.
me let me meet you outside in the
How
locker
long have
rooms.
we been
yeah,
going?
no,
Oh,
I
we're
see
at.
that.
Oh, damn, we're over an hour. Can you believe it?
Yeah, well,
Shoot, we got a few
having
more
get-
minutes. I
yeah.
guess we can go a couple,
Let
but
let's
um,
let's 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 yeah let's
yeah,
let's do what do. We
so
waited this
yeah,
long
we waited
for
for
my.
you to have a guest. I
Yeah,
feel like
I
we've been
know.
cutting you off a
We
lot.
waited about
but-
like
true.
3 weeks,
Yeah.
close to a
True.
month,
Yeah,
and you keep cutting this man off.
Hey, we're trying to. I mean, yeah, I guess
We've
that's
been
what we
having
do
some
best.
bated
Don't take.
breath.
I hope you don't take offense to it.
No,
or
I don't
anything.
care.
But yeah, we just want to have a guest because we were like,
Yeah,
we've
And
been
I'm-
planning having a guest for so long, and then
and-
every time like technical difficulties or we can't figure one thing out or whatever.
Here we
but
go again
And
with
I
the
am-
we.
and I am honored to be the very
First
first
guest.
guest.
He's my
on
first one,
the
people.
Hey,
Retro
first
Genre.
guest
First
over
one.
here.
Yes.
First one.
we're
For everybody
actually
to
planning
know,
to have
I had mentioned him on the first.
multiple episodes. We
Yeah.
wanted
multiple
him to come
episodes.
on.
And
Yeah.
I've heard all of these mentions because I'm a
Yeah,
long
Shay's
time
one of our
listener.
best loyal
I've
followers
been
right here.
listening ever
so,
since episode 1.
You were
uh,
with us with the ups and the downs.
Yep.
So yeah.
He heard everyone, and everybody does know
Even when
that
they lost-
his
ahead.
girlfriend is the one that drew our
logo too.
our logo.
Yeah.
Yes,
He's
yes,
the OG over here.
yes.
When we pop off.
We have that Taco Drama logo. That is his girlfriend.
Yeah.
That did that logo for
You know what?
us.
You're our new tech guy, all right? I'm just gonna
Yeah.
start calling you tech guy, all
Yes,
right?
I'll try my best.
Yeah. So he's our new tech guy over here. But yeah, we're also planning on having a guest next week too. This is Art. I want to play a little snippet of
We're
Art
gonna give you a little preview
of
of
what
what
to
Yeah.
expect. for next
with
week.
art, and I
Yeah,
hope
we're
you
gonna-
guys can hear it in the audio because
Yeah.
it's a recording.
This is what you're gonna expect from him. It's gonna be crazy.
Make sure
but
the
let
mic's
me-
next to it
Yeah, let me make sure it's loud too.
because
yeah.
this is what you're gonna expect with art.
Why because we didn't want to go to some people? You're not fucking answering. Who the fuck you think you are?
Hopefully you heard that, but that's
Yeah.
Art. He'll be on next week. So
Yeah.
hopefully next week.
It's gonna be it's gonna be quite interesting.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. You know,
But I have no idea what's gonna happen with
I'm
this
exci-
man.
Shay's more mellow and
Yeah,
cool, and
yeah.
you know, but Art comes in, he'll just be like,
No, it's gonna be a
out
loud
there.
one next episode.
Oh,
This one,
yeah.
this one was the nice, chill,
if we bleep
relaxed.
them out.
This is more of an
if we
education
were,
one.
if we were to
Yeah,
bleep, if
now
we were to bleep
hopefully
them
we
out,
learned some stuff.
if we
We
were to bleep,
did.
if we were to bleep them out, it would be like every third word. Like,
Yeah.
we would just
No,
have to.
I
it
was
would
gonna
be
say
beep,
you.
beep, beep,
Yeah, I was
like
gonna.
you know,
Yeah, I was gonna say you might have to edit.
we just
cut-
might have
cut-
to edit
cut
him out
thing- yeah.
completely. He could say
Cut-
something where we're like, we can't
Yeah.
have
This
that.
man-
You might have to
you-
cut out quite a bit more than you usually do with all the.
We don't cut
all
out
the-
anything.
We don't
but
cut-
We don't do any editing.
This
but-
guy
Are
likes
you sure?
this
with
like
all the,
this guy likes
with all the
raw.
slurs you've been dropping.
Oh yeah, I cut those out. You're
Yeah,
right. You
good.
know, I cut
Yeah.
those out. We
you
gotta be
have to
careful
cut
what this
those
fool
out.
says. But
What you pointing at me for?
you fool.
I am the
Well, Art,
most.
mostly just Art. We don't know
Or-
what he's capable of saying.
I'm just gonna sit here quietly and let
But there
art
are
talk.
certain things where I'm gonna be like, dude, you.
I'm
shit. I'll be
all,
like, that
all
can't
I'm
be
gonna
said.
know is I'm gonna laugh. I'm gonna laugh throughout the
Dude, it'll
whole
be
50
funny.
minutes.
It'll be funny, but like, yeah.
But we finally got our guests
So,
in.
Shay, do you want to shout out like? I mean,
Yeah,
any of your,
we're just
well,
gonna wrap it up.
or
I want
anything you
I
want to
mean,
say to
so
wrap it up.
I, I'm gonna tell pretty much everyone I know about this podcast, and they're probably all gonna watch this episode. So you're probably gonna
And they're gonna
explode
get mad
in
at us
views.
because we cut you off so many times.
No,
But
that's fine.
yeah.
Just like you just
guys
did
are
right
the-
now.
You guys are the hosts, so that's.
But
you're-
we're supposed to let our guests speak, but I.
Well,
I
you're
cut
supposed,
off.
but
Yeah.
no, you're learning. This is an
Yeah, we're new.
educational.
This only
So
episode
this is the
12, yeah.
educational episode, right? You
Mhm.
have
Yes.
the teacher guest on,
Yeah.
and so now you're learning how to have a guest on to where now you know maybe I shouldn't cut him off so much.
Yes.
D-
I'm
th-
looking at
he
you for-
emphasized on so. Don't point at me.
It was you and me.
He looked at you square in your soul, your eyes, and said,
Nah,
"Cut
nah.
off."
Okay, well, yes, I probably did, but you did your fair share of cutting
Ah,
off too.
you.
Well, when it was just
I
me
mean,
and you cut me off all
I've
the
also,
time.
I've also cut you guys off.
Yeah,
too.
I
We're
don't
all
really
cutting each
care,
other
like,
off. We're
it
all
doesn't matter to me, but
Just-
a lot of
It's just
a
a
lot
big
of-
cutoff show.
a
you
lot
know?
of people. Yeah,
We're gonna change it.
yeah, a lot of
The
people get
cutoff show.
upset when they watch interviews and then they're like in the YouTube comments, like,
Yeah.
you cut off your guest, you cut off your guest.
Yeah. You get we
Next
get
time you
comments.
come on, Shay, no, like when you we haven't gotten any
He
comments.
just did it
first.
again. You keep doing it.
What?
You keep cutting him off.
He was done.
He wasn't
I was
done.
I was
He
done.
was done.
I don't think he
Come on,
was.
Rigo. No, I'm saying from like you watch other YouTube like
Yeah, yeah.
interviews, like podcasts, and people make comments like you
I
kept
get
cutting
you.
off your guest. You kept cutting off
I
your guest.
get you. Yeah.
So if Shay comes on again, I'll make
So-
sure he speaks the
He's
whole
gonna
time.
tell all his
Yeah,
friends we're
now
gonna
to-
blow up.
yeah, I was gonna say I'm gonna tell. So to shout out to my parents if they end up watching this, I'm gonna tell them about it. My sister, my friends, to Travis, Barrett, Nathan, Nick, Skylar, Marco, all of them, um, and yeah, am I forgetting any big names?
Do you want to
Michelle?
shout out like your
Shout out to
like
Michelle
where they
back
can
there.
find you, like
Yeah,
social media wise or
uh,
anything, or
I mean,
or
I guess I mean I don't I really never use social media, so there wouldn't really be a point to following me on
okay.
anything.
So
Yeah.
so mention Michelle's media for her
Yeah,
picture
Yeah.
so
drawings.
shout out to Michelle's art for this podcast. She's an incredible artist. Can we get the handle? Can you go ahead? Actually,
I
send
think I can link it in
yeah, well
the I
yeah,
can put a
we'll link
link.
in the description the handle for
I
Michelle's
can put it on
art.
YouTube, and I think I might be able to put it in Spotify
Yeah, her
too.
art
Yeah.
profile and she's gonna be probably moving into doing like commission type work maybe sometime in the future.
Yeah.
Maybe so if anyone out there likes her stuff,
I'll put a link
keep an eye out.
Does she have like a page, right? Or
Yeah, she has multiple things. She has an Instagram page. She has lots of different kinds of different
Make
things.
sure you
But
plug it in.
I'll
You
try
could
to
drop-
put it because I don't know
whatever
how
she
to.
wants to link you, she will give to you, and
Yeah,
you will
tell her
link
to
in the
give it to me
description.
because I don't know exactly how to do it. I know I can put it in YouTube, but I don't know about Spotify. But yeah, and yeah, okay, yeah, I'll
Yeah.
do my best. So,
Well,
Those
no,
are my
you make sure
shout-outs.
that.
well, I'm
best
gonna
comes
try.
out.
I just don't know exactly how to
Well,
do it.
Shay got his shout outs in,
Yeah.
and I'm
Think
just
we'll-
happy that we're able to connect everything for
Yeah.
actually having our guest. It's
Yes.
gonna start. This was more an
On Rigo's
educational.
behalf, I'm gonna. I just cut you off on purpose.
This guy just cut me
On
off
Rigo's
again.
behalf, I apologize for us cutting you off. Okay.
That's okay.
And we
All right.
apologize for the whatever the camera dropped because
Yeah.
this guy.
That was your fault. That was
Yeah.
your
I was
fault.
clearly not even moving.
You were like kicking your feet, and then I'm like Rigo, and then the camera drops.
I
Here we
forgive you
go.
all, but I can't wait to hear Art on the next
Oh,
week's
God.
podcast,
It'll
and
be-
This is
I'm
gonna
not
be.
excited to hear my own voice.
No,
on this
trust me. At the
episode.
beginning, it's gonna
Yeah.
be weird,
Oh,
but you
yeah.
get used to it.
You can hear it on the radio. You're gonna
You're gonna
you're
change
gonna
it
you're
at
gonna
first, you'll be
it's
like,
gonna be
I
weird.
can't, but then
Yeah.
you get.
you're gonna be
used
like,
to
I
it.
really sound like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
I really
trust
do.
me. Like the first couple episodes when I would listen back, I'm like, I can't do this.
Yeah, everybody who knows
Yeah.
me is gonna watch this and gonna be like, "What are you talking about? You sound fine. You sound normal. You
No,
sound
no,
nice as you
trust
always
me.
do."
Yeah,
I'll be
well,
like, "What are
my-
you talking
my-
about? I sound
my-
so
yeah.
weird."
My
Yeah.
daughter's friends thought you were doing helium.
Yeah, bro. It's my. But you get used to it after a while.
You
so-
do. You really
Do
do.
you want to end it because we're
Yeah,
at?
I think
we're at
we
an
gotta-
hour and
we
12
gotta-
minutes. I don't know
Okay,
why.
this
we
is
didn't,
one of
but-
our longest
All right.
episodes
Yeah.
we've had so far because I waited
You're
so
welcome.
long for
Yeah.
my guest Shay to
I
come
think
on.
Shay only talked maybe like 4 minutes throughout
Yeah,
the whole
because you kept
podcast.
cutting him off,
That was-
just like
That's
I
all right.
just did to you on purpose.
Yeah, I know.
My voice is rare but sweet.
Yeah,
There.
there you go. So,
And we'll leave it at that
Yeah.
note. His voice is rare and
so
sweet.
this is episode 12. Check us out. We'll be back next Friday. Hopefully with Art. You don't want to miss that one either. So
We don't want to
Yeah.
miss art. It's gonna be interesting.
Happy
All right,
St.
guys.
End it.
Patrick's Day.
Happy St. Patrick's Day, everybody.
How do I do this shit?
Here we go.
Okay.